Chapter 2. Mum, we've got something to tell you. Mary and Andy walked into their hotel room. It was a large room with 3 beds, a sofa and 2 chairs, a table, a desk, and a large wardrobe. The room was empty. Andy looked in the bathroom. No one was there. "She's not here," he said. "Quick," said Mary, turning on the TV. "Make it look like we've been here for a long time." Andy took off his trainers and his sweatshirt and sat down on the sofa. There was a big mirror above the table on one side of the room. He looked at himself. He was 14 and already more than 175 centimeters tall. He had short red hair and blue eyes. Sometimes at school, people made fun of his hair because of its color. He didn't mind. There were worse things than having red hair. He looked at his sister, Mary, sitting across the room watching TV. She was 14 as well. They were twins, but she didn't look like him at all. She was a few centimeters shorter than him. She had long dark hair and big brown eyes. She was wearing jeans and a black t-shirt. "Where do you think Mum is?" asked Andy. But he didn't get an answer. They heard a key in the lock, and Ellen Lawson, their mother, came into the room. Ellen Lawson had short dark hair, brown eyes, and was shorter than both her children. She was carrying a large bag, which she threw on one of the beds. "Hi, you two," she called. "How are you? Have you had a good time? Where have you been?" "Where have you been?" asked Mary. She was using a deep voice like her mother's. She sounded a little angry, like her mother sometimes did. Andy quickly got the idea. "Yes, Mother," he said, waving a finger at her. "What time do you call this?" All right, laughed Ellen Lawson. "I know I'm a bit late, but I got talking to Peter and—" "Ah, Peter," said Mary. "And who is this Peter? I think we need to know, Mother." Ellen laughed again. "You know who Peter is. Mr. van Noordwijk, the man I'm working for here in Amsterdam. And, as it's our first day here, he's going to take us out for dinner. All 3 of us. Now, put some shoes on and we'll go and find him. He's waiting for us in a restaurant just round the corner." Quickly, Andy started pulling his trainers back on, and Ellen turned to open the door. Mary looked at Andy and put her thumb up in the air. They were going to be okay. Mum didn't know about them being late. Andy smiled. Peter van Noordwijk was waiting in the Van Loon Steakhouse, 2 minutes' walk from the hotel. He stood up as the Lawsons came into the restaurant. He was a short man, a little bit taller than Ellen Lawson, but shorter than Andy. He had grey hair and an expensive grey suit. "Hello, you two," he said, smiling at Andy and Mary. "It's nice to meet you. I've heard a lot about you." "All good, I hope," said Mary, looking at her mother. Peter van Noordwijk and Ellen Lawson both laughed. Over dinner, Van Noordwijk talked to Mary and Andy about their schools in England, and then asked them what they were thinking of doing in Amsterdam. "We'll probably go to some museums and maybe see a film one afternoon," answered Mary. "And of course, Mum told us to bring some schoolwork too," said Andy, which was very boring of her. But he was smiling at his mother as he said it. Van Noordwijk laughed again. "Well, on Saturday I'm going out on my boat," he said. "You could all come along with me for the day, if you like." "Oh, yes, please," said Mary and Andy together. They looked at their mother. "Can we, Mum? Please?" they said. Ellen smiled and looked at Van Noordwijk. "That's very kind of you," she said. "We'd love to come." "Do you often travel with your mum when she's working?" asked Van Noordwijk. "Only if Dad's not at home," replied Mary. "He's in California on business at the moment, and Mum doesn't want to leave us at home on our own." "Well, she doesn't want to leave Mary at home on her own," said Andy. Now, said Ellen Lawson. "Peter's been kind enough to bring us out for dinner and invite us out for the day. The last thing he wants is to listen to you two fighting." "Sorry, Mum," said Andy, smiling. "But it's true, isn't it?" The next morning, Ellen, Mary and Andy were all getting dressed in the hotel room. The television was on. You can get British TV in the Netherlands, so the BBC Breakfast Time News was on. In a robbery yesterday afternoon at the Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam, robbers escaped with a painting by Rembrandt. The painting cost the museum £23 million 4 years ago, and is an excellent and unusual example of Rembrandt's early work. Police do not yet know how the robbers got in and out of the museum, and they are asking the public to help with any information. And now to sport. Mary and Andy looked at each other. Ellen Lawson turned off the TV. "Well," she said, "a robbery just down the road from us. That doesn't happen every day. The Rijksmuseum's only about 10 minutes' walk from here. Anyway, come on, let's go and have some breakfast." As they walked down the stairs to the dining room, Andy looked at Mary. "Do you think—" he asked. "Yes," she replied. Sometimes she and Andy knew exactly what the other one was thinking. Perhaps it was because they were twins. "What are you talking about?" asked Ellen, looking from one to the other. "Well?" asked Andy. "Well, what?" asked Ellen. "I think we have to," replied Mary. "What's all this about?" asked Ellen. "Mum," said Andy, "we've got something to tell you."